So I've had this Ryobi trimmer, I think it's called, for some years now. It's a OGS 1821 model apparently, but it doesn't seem to cut very well. So I thought I'd just take apart this blade. I didn't realise till I looked at it a bit more closely that it's actually got two moving parts. These blades move, and so do the ones below. So there's actually, at least I think they do. Yeah, they do. So there's three parts. There's this fixed part, and then both these blades move in opposite directions. But it doesn't seem to be cutting very well, and yet they look as if they're quite close together. So they should be shearing properly. But for some reason, they don't sort of cut through branches or small twigs and such like on a hedge very well. They're slightly bent as well. That's probably my fault at some point. There's this plastic piece here which lifts off and locates on two like roll pins to me. They're slightly loose, but don't drop out. And so this part fits in this nylon sort of gear type thing, which reciprocates. Right, so let's try and get this apart and just see what's inside. Looks like this end has got 4 crosshead screws. Let's take this plate off, so let's do that for a start, see what's under there. Ooh. Alright, there we go. So there's those 2 pins come through on this side. So they're more like rivets. They're certainly not roll pins, but there is a hole in the end. Part of the manufacturing process, perhaps. As that does rotate continuously. So the reciprocation is between these 2 cam lobes, 180 degrees apart. They're, I say cams, they're just eccentrics. Looks of it. Are they? I think they are. This one certainly is. That's just a circle. Looks of it. It doesn't quite look circular, but I think it is. And this one too. Is that a circle? It's like an optical illusion. It looks as if it isn't because of these offset holes, but I think it is just an eccentric. So those 2, and then there's this washer underneath. Oh, this is actually plastic. So I'll just use this socket and a screwdriver, I think. Okay, so these have a spacer, or it's a top hat washer in effect. Oh, it looks like it could be a... No, I think it is just one piece. And on this side, just a nut. Locked nylock nut on the top. That's obviously just a end piece for hanging up on the wall if necessary, or if you want to. So let's carry on. So last one. Okay, so we've got this plate, which is just a flat sheet. This blade, 2 spaces here. That's just crud, I think. Yeah, it's just debris. And so yeah, 2 spaces there. And there were these 2 spaces attached to washers in these 2 holes. So the spacing between the blades is controlled by these spacers. Tightening the nuts and these screws doesn't affect the spacing. So stiffening bar at the back and the 2 cutting blades. They're obviously coated in, looks like PTFE. Okay, so they're mirror images, aren't they? These ones have an end on them, and so do these. And these are much shorter and just a blunt ended. So this is the lower one. Just got a slight kink in it there. Evidently to keep these 2 apart inside the drive mechanism. Pick up on those 2 eccentrics. So there's one alternative would be just to take the spacers out. Then I could adjust the gap between these 2 blades just using the nylock nuts. That might not be a bad idea. I might try that. I'll clean everything up first and take it from there. So everything else looks straight. These 2 parts are lying flat against each other. So there's no reason why these blades shouldn't be shearing against each other, as they should, apart perhaps from the general crud that's built up on them over the years. So yeah, I'll clean these up and maybe reassemble it without the spacers, just see whether it'll operate like that. So the alternative is to reduce the height of the spacers slightly. That would take up the wear that might have taken place on these blades. I'll get it cleaned up first and see how we go. Right, so this is all cleaned up. I'm just going to reassemble it without the spacers in. These spacers. See whether the nylock nuts will hold it slightly tight together and see if it cuts better. Okay, so I put it together and I've realised that these 2 screws, of course, used to have these sort of top hat washers, combined spacer and washer to keep the blades together. So without those, I'm going to have to replace them with some sort of just a flat washer. So I'll do that, but otherwise, at least it's adjustable now. The stiffness is adjustable, or the clearance. So yeah, we'll see. I've got some M5 penny washers which will do for these 2. They're slightly too wide in that they're coming across the cutting surface, but good enough for now. I'll cut them down if the thing works at all. Right, so 2 washers on. See if it fits back on the machine. Stick a battery in. It certainly operates. I'll just try and get this snugged up as tight as I can without it actually jamming. and then try it on the hedge. Right, so those are all snugged up until they're just tight, and then backed off a quarter of a turn. I realise I'm asking a lot of these nylock nuts to not come undone, and they are used, so I might have to replace them at some point. But yeah, let's give it a go. So this is the tree that I was trying to cut before and struggling because it just wasn't cutting properly, like this one here. Sort of half cut through it. Let's try this. That does seem distinctly better than it was before. And at least it's adjustable now. So yeah, I think taking the spaces out, or at least maybe reducing the depth of the spaces, seems to be a good idea. Okay, well that is definitely cutting better than it was yesterday. Without the spaces in, definitely seems to improve the cutting performance. There's a question as I say whether the nylock nuts come undone, but we'll see how it goes. For now, this is working much better than it was, so yeah, good stuff. Okay, so I've used that for a fair while now, and it seems to be much better. It's definitely cutting better than it was. So, so taking those spaces out gives you the freedom to adjust the clearance between the blades. These nylock nuts do seem to be holding up, and that one is spinning now, but it's tight enough to say improve the cut. Anyway, I've stuck the original spacers, put them in a little bag and taped them to the front, just so I keep everything together, just in case I want to put those back in. But for now, it seems to be better without them. So if you've got one of these and it's getting a bit long in the tooth and the wear, showing signs of wear, taking the spaces out does seem to be a way of bringing it back to life. Okay, thanks for watching.